welcome back to the 99th episode, the Aaron Judgeth episode of the Triboro Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Alonzo, joined by co-host Nicholas O'Brien. How are we doing, Nicholas O'Brien?
I'm doing well. I'm doing swell and well. Don't mind my voice. My throat is not cooperating. But we're here. We're back. Another week. Another set of games.
Sound like those Marlboros really took a toll.
They did.
Nah,
they really did.
I'm in the same boat. My voice is a little scratchy from the post-Mother's Day excitement. Yeah, this was a
Mother's Day.
What's that?
I said Mother's Day. Shit really gets down.
It gets a little wild, but yeah, this was a wild week of baseball. And it's gonna get even wilder next week because, of course, for the 100th episode, we do have the Subway Series, but of course we'll get into that later. But might as well just get
that up so well.
What's that?
We set that up so well.
Perfectly. We mapped this out 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
Sure. But on that note, get right into the Bronx.
Now entering the Bronx.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into the Bronx. I want to take a little bit of credit for the Yankees' winnings. So, something that I used last year to break the slumps is just putting "win" as the Twitter caption. It worked again, where they had 2 games against the Padres. They just pulled out of their asses. But, of course, before we get into that, your injury update brought to you by the Triboro MD. So, Giancarlo Stanton is, quote-unquote, ramping up quite a bit. What that means, God only knows, because the Yankees have the weirdest terminology with injuries. I heard someone say that none of the Yankees team doctors went to medical school. That makes a lot of sense.
Huh.
Or like he said, he doesn't believe any of them did. That would make a lot of sense. But, yeah, obviously big. Marcus Stroman is still experiencing knee discomfort as of May 9th. Who knows? Like, it's so weird because I thought it was one of those things of he was fine, maybe a little bit of an issue, but just to be safe, we're going to toss him on the IL. It's been a lot more than the minimum. It's coming on a month now. And I know your exact reaction was, okay.
I never believed it from the beginning, and this kind of exemplifies it a little.
Asshole. A guy's dealing with a serious knee injury, and you're making fun of him for being dog shit.
I mean, like, I don't know. If obviously sounds like it's an actual injury, so whatever it is what it is. But at the same time, given the performance and given the the vesting option and everything in between, it sounded like the perfect opportunity to be like knee issue.
Oh, I agree 100%. But it seems like it is an actual knee issue. But DJ LeMahieu is likely to return for the Seattle series, which is this week.
Yay.
It's a positive because, okay, it's a positive depending on what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If Pablo Reyes is out of my life, it's a positive. If they send down Jordan, or the Jordan man, Jordan Vivas, then I will get mad. Which I think is what's going to happen, unfortunately, just because the options game. But
They really want Pablo Reyes?
That's the issue. But they're going to say, like, oh, it's a asset management. Vivas has the options, yada, 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 bullshit. So, that's what I expect to happen. It's stupid. It's so stupid. I mean,
like, yeah, you say asset management or whatever, but, like...
ass management.
Pablo Reyes isn't someone you need to keep around.
He's not an asset. He's a liability.
No, he's exactly, like, the guy doesn't hit. He doesn't field well. He doesn't run well. What?
He's not a vibes guy. He's not at least with Oswaldo Cabrera, he's a vibes guy.
Absolutely. Like, what does Pablo Reyes do?
Nothing.
He doesn't play. He doesn't play either.
He's
Just
literally a bench warmer,
25 plate appearances.
and he's been on this team since opening day.
He's gotten into 17 games.
He's averaging less than a plate appearance per Yankee game.
What's the point?
There is none. But the
Dude.
last one, Jonathan Loaiza, is scheduled to pitch on the 11th, which was yesterday, 13th, 17th, 18th, and then could be activated. They said they really wanted to see him on back-to-back days on the 17th and 18th. That was kind of like the big hurdle
Makes
they
sense.
want him to get over, and then after that, he would be activated. I'll feel really bad if the guy's throwing like a no-hitter or a perfect game in AAA, and then they're like, oh, we're
Yeah.
taking you out just because it's a scheduled day for a guy rehabbing.
Yeah,
What?
sorry. Move along, young buck.
Yeah,
Jonathan Loaiza needs to pitch.
Seriously, but that would suck, but obviously you need him back because the last thing I'm gonna talk about in this episode is the bullpen because I do have some issues with some of the guys in the bullpen itself, but getting into the actual games themselves, so Game 2 against the Padres was Clark Schmidt versus Michael King, the battle of the who got traded for Juan Soto versus who was in the discussion to get traded for Juan Soto. Or for Trent Grisham, rather. Not that Juan Soto guy.
Yeah.
No one cares
The
about that Juan
Trent
Soto
Grisham
guy.
trade.
But,
What a bum.
so, it was very weird for Clark because he started out like that very shaky and you're like, oh boy, doesn't have the command, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Settled in, retired the last 5 batters. Somehow was able to, or last 6 batters, sorry, my fault. Was able to go 6 innings, only let up 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. The biggest thing for me, 1 walk against one of the best lineups in baseball. So that was the thing that we were kind of looking at was the walks, just because guys come back, don't have really ever spring training. It's the control, yada, yada, yada. Big thing. Really hope, because I believe he's starting 2 games this week. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's starting tonight, so that would line him up to pitch on Sunday Night Baseball against the Mets. But, anyways, you go into the top of the 7th of this game. I'm just going to be jumping around, because Michael King, he almost had an identical stat line to Clark Schmidt in the sense of 6 innings, 2 runs. And the pitch that he gave up to Judge, he immediately knew that, yeah, that ball's going 7,000 feet.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, he's back over 400 because he has more games this season where he has 3 or more hits than he has no hits.
Insane.
For a guy that's leading the league, that's tied for the league lead in home runs. It's
What a guy. I mean, it's May 12th, and he's still hovering around 400. That's great. That's insane.
It's top of the 7th. Tim Hill gives the lead back, so it's a 3-2 game with the Yankees down. But then the bottom of the 7th, against a Padres team that was 23-0 when they lead in the 7th inning or later.
Their bullpen has been really
Disgusting.
good this year.
I think it was like a 2 ERA they had. After this game, I'm pretty sure it was in the 3s. Yankees scored 10 runs. And except for the Austin Wells Grand Slam, which was kind of just like the exclamation point on it, it was all hits. It was all like a single, double, this, which was kind of my only concern with this Yankees offense, that they couldn't really pull together a rally. And they had a near identical one against the Oakland Athletics where they didn't have a home run except for a Ben Rice Grand Slam, which I'll get into, but...
The what Athletics?
I just said Athletics.
You called them Oakland.
I did?
Yeah.
I could have swore I
It's
just
okay.
said Athletics.
You said Oakland. It's
Jarvis,
all right.
clip it, but...
It's going to be okay.
It's gonna be okay. Yeah, but that was a 12-3 absolute shellacking. It was definitely an overcorrect for the first game where you should have won that game, blown lead, yada yada yada.
Absolutely murdered Randy Peralta.
Oh my god, dude, the sacrificial baby.
His ERA is now over 7 at the end of this week.
You take out that 1 star, it's probably -2. But yeah, then game 3 was Max Fried versus Dylan Cease. The craziest part of this game Max Fried went seven innings, let up only 1 run. His ERA went up. His ERA went up to 1.05. Oh no. Thing that impressed me the most against a very potent Padres lineup, 8 strikeouts. Only had 5 base runners, which all 5 were from hits, had no walks. So, and the 1 run was a home run. I forget to who, but obviously, phenomenal start from him. It's ridiculous at this point, and we can't talk enough about Max Fried. Just imagine if this team had Garrett Cole, dude.
That's a shame.
It'd be insane, but the Dylan Cease, he had a no-hitter through 6 1/3 innings because of course he did. Cody Bellinger hit a home run on a ball that he had no business hitting a home run on. This ball was literally at his neck, his chin, his neck. God only knows how he hit that out, but then the 8th inning, Padres score 2, so it's a 3-1 game. Then Trent motherfucking Grisham comes off the bench to hit a 2-run home run to tie the game. Which I thought that was kind of the issue, that the Yankees have never really had a bench. And I feel like even when they do have a bench and they do pinch hit guys just don't know how to pinch hit. Like, I know Judge and Stan, those two are kind of like big guys where it's like, if they don't play an entire game, you do not trust them to pinch hit. So it's very nice to see that, like, yeah, they have this rotation, but at least they have some people that could pinch hit when the guy gets squeezed out. So,
Yeah, I feel like every day, because of kind of the crowded outfield, you kind of have a guy that you wish was in the lineup kind of just on the bench, which
and
always helps out.
because there's 5 guys that get rotated, between Rice, Goldschmidt, Dominguez, Bellinger, and Grisham. 3 of those guys are veterans, pretty lengthy veterans too, so they know how to pinch it. Rice and Dominguez, they're young guys. They're both their first full years, so definitely something that I didn't really even think about until I started talking now. But anyways, I think the most impressive thing about this was the 10th inning from Devin Williams, when he literally just
Huge.
hung his nuts on the Padres' face. So this is how it went. Keep in mind you have the ghost runner, Tatis, because it's for the top of the order too. Tatis, strikeout. Luis Ariz, walk, which honestly, I kind of like. Because if there's anyone in this lineup that you could count on to get a base hit with a runner in scoring position, it's Luis Ariz.
Right.
I don't hate that.
Or at least put the ball in play, like
Exactly.
get the runner over or something. Like it's gonna
Some
be
bullshit
him.
happens.
Right.
Then Manny Machado, strikeout. Merrill, hit by pitch, where I think I even said in like our group chat, like, I'm walking
Yeah.
Merrill. I am not fighting. I'm not, because was it him or Profar that was the best hitter runner in scoring position last year?
I think it was Profar, but I know
But
Merrill.
it was like
really
1A,
good,
1B. And Merrill
Yeah.
was like absurd. He had like a 1,200 OPS from running the scoring position, maybe even higher. So I was like, just don't pitch to him. He ends up going for a fastball. It's up and in, hits him. So essentially a walk, which I was happy about. Then Xander Bogaerts in a 3-2 count. He strikes him out. The most impressive part of that strikeout to me, and it's going to sound counterintuitive at first, is that it was a changeup out of the zone. He trusted his changeup that much in a tied game in extra innings. With, if he walks the guy, a run scores and the Yankees are behind. He trusted it so much he threw it out of the zone.
You know, I didn't even think about it like that, but
You know what I mean? Where it's just a
yeah,
confidence thing.
right.
And I'll get more into I almost said Cease, Jesus, Williams later, because I think there was a perfect spot for him later in the week that they didn't use him, which was kind of like, why? But then JC Escara, he ends up pinch hitting for a walk-off sac fly. Gotta love that. And this kind of shines a little bit of a light on the last Rays game, where they see him as a guy they want to put in high leverage. And I think him hitting the sac fly kind of gives you that 2020 vision, or like the hindsight 2020 vision of like, yeah, he can come through, but then at the same time, he's your backup catcher.
Right.
So I think sometimes righty-lefty gets too
It's definitely overplayed.
overthought at points,
Yeah.
because my thing is, if a guy hits both, a guy hits both. If the
Yeah.
pitcher sucks, regardless.
there is definitely a time
Mm.
that it's absolutely a thing that and
Looking at
usually
you,
it's lefties,
Jock.
but yeah, some lefties just can't hit lefties, but I'd say maybe 8 times out of 10, like a
It's
major league
overplayed.
hitter can at least be competent against
Yeah.
both sides on
Obviously,
the
you have
mound.
those certain guys that are platoon bats. That one guy crushes righties, one guy crushes
Right,
lefties. Whatever. That's a different story. But when it's a young guy that you're not a young guy for him. I was talking about. I forget who got pulled, but I remember it was a young guy. But you're putting in a 30-year-old backup catcher. Granted, he ended up doing it. It's just a little weird to me, and it
hmm
makes the whole when Giancarlo Stanton comes back conversation a little funkier because Ben Rice did play an inning, and I believe it was the Friday game at catcher when they were blowing it out. But overall, they won 2 games they shouldn't have against the Padres. They came back from, and that was another. The two issues I had with the Yankees offense so far this year was they didn't really string together rallies, and they didn't really have a comeback win. You had two
right.
huge ones here against the best bullpen in baseball.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was the most impressive thing. What was that? That was Tuesday's game with that
Yeah,
comeback against the
Tuesday
bullpen. That
and Wednesday.
yeah, that's the takeaway for me. I mean, like this back end of the bullpen is just absolutely insane, and the fact that the Yankees were able to, like you said, rally without kind of shooting them in the foot, because the worst thing for a rally is a home run,
Yeah.
right? So being able to do that, like you said, against a excellent bullpen in the Padres, kind of shows that when this team is clicking, there's not many other teams better than it.
There was a lot of lefty hits too. Or Dominguez obviously would be righty lefty, but I know Dominguez got one, Ben Rice got one, Austin Wells got one. So that's another thing that was like really impressive to me. But
hmm
anyways, game 4, Will Warren versus Osvaldo Beto. Speaking of Jasson Dominguez, holy fucking shit. He had a 3 home run game. He's the youngest player in Yankee history to have a 3 home run game. It was his first career 2 home run game, first career 3 home run game, first career grand slam, first career home run from the right hand side.
Career game,
Career game for Jasson Dominguez. I think career high in RBIs as well.
right?
But he had 2 home runs from the left
Undoubtedly.
side. That's awesome. Like, we know about the pop. The home run from the right-handed side shocked me.
hmm
I knew he could do it. The thing that shocked me was how far and how hard it was hit. 431 feet to 112 miles an hour.
Jeez.
That is absolutely roasted.
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw the tweet of the MLB executive burner, whatever, that was like, oh, Dominguez is the most overhyped prospect in baseball, yada, yada, yada. Since that tweet, he has got off. So, and you see, I think it was Gunner, how, like, they had a tweet about Gunner literally 8 hours after,
Mm-mm.
where it was like, oh, Gunnar Henderson is a young guy. He just needs time to develop. Literally, like, giving Gunnar the benefit of the doubt. They were
Yeah.
both born in 2003.
Mike Elias put the Twitter handle down.
Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just
A
such clear
guy who's
bias.
already played at MVP level needs time to develop.
He was like,
Okay.
oh, give him time. Like, again, Gunnar does
Whatever.
deserve the benefit of the doubt because of how elite of a level he did play at last year. That's not a fluke for a young guy, but yeah, that's ridiculous. That
Yeah.
whatever. Jasson Dominguez said, "Fuck you." You also had a Paul Goldschmidt home run, but it's crazy because Dominguez is obviously the story of the game. But like the 1C story of the game was Will Warren, where he went 7 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Even then, 2 of those hits and the run were in the 8th inning when he kind of just got like put out there, which I thought it was the right move to put in for the 8th inning, especially save the bullpen because you have a tough 6 game slate on the horizon. So if you take, obviously you can't because of the entire line, but you take out that last 8 inning where he only got 1 out, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 Ks. So
Excellent.
I think
Excellent.
I told you I had a narrative about Will Warren that I wanted to
You did.
push.
Mhm.
We talked a lot last year, and the story was how Luis Gil and Severino sat down and talked after the Subway Series.
Mhm.
And Luis Gil kind of like revolutionized, I think it was his changeup, because Severino in his early career with the Yankees was essentially what Luis Gil is now, but obviously to a higher extent. So like he got better results than Luis Gil. That's not a knock on Luis Gil, it's just that Severino was that guy when he
Was
first came
him.
up. We talked a lot about Michael King and Will Warren having near identical profiles. What if after and everyone was saying as a joke, like, oh, we need him and King to sit down in a room. What if
Yeah.
that happened?
Right.
Because Michael King is still very close with a lot of guys on the Yankees. So, I don't. Do you think, like, obviously, the counter argument is sustain it. But
Right.
if he
Absolutely.
sustained it, I will fully believe that they got locked in a room together.
Yeah.
You okay?
Excuse me.
You okay? Don't die on me, Nick.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll can't say enough about both those guys. They both pop the fuck off. Um, then you get
And
into Game 5.
also, real
Oh,
quick
go
on
on.
Warren, his velocity was also up across
Yeah.
the board.
It also was 90 degrees.
Right. So I don't know if maybe it was warm, so he kind of felt a little looser, or what. But like his sweeper was almost 2 miles per hour
It was disgusting.
faster. Yeah, for already a disgusting pitch. So, and he used his sinker a little more than his sweeper. He usually it's four seam sweeper, but it was four seam sinker sweeper for
Interesting.
him. So yeah, so I wonder if maybe it's kind of he's just like a sequence change away
Yeah.
from kind of breaking out a little bit. But no, this was a pretty big start for Warren. And again, this athletics team is no joke.
They
Like
can hit, and they're also
they
hitting
are
in
a
a minor league
decent
ballpark.
team,
It's 90
right?
degrees out, so the ball's gonna fly. So,
Absolutely, this is a decent team, and for all intents and purposes, he shut them down for nearly 8 innings.
and oh
So
no, he let
huge,
up a
huge
solo
start.
shot.
Right, which happens. Whatever.
Yeah.
Huge start.
But then you get into Game 5, Carlos Rodon versus JP Sears. You had 2 home runs from Judge. The issue that I had with this game, and the Yankees lost this game, in the 8th inning, it's 6-7, bases loaded, 2 outs. Why are we putting in Tyler Mazdak? Like I mentioned earlier, I think this was because Luke Weaver hadn't pitched in, I believe, 3 days. Same thing with Devin Williams, 2 or 3 days. Why are one of them not put in this situation? I know you're down a run, whatever. It's a 1-run game, and you had your top of the order up next against Mason Miller. Mason Miller is the most disgusting closer in baseball. A 1 run is scary. 2 runs is insurmountable. I don't understand why you didn't put one of them in there. Especially with Devin Williams just coming off an outing where he dragged his nuts against the one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah.
No,
that's definitely fair. I think
that's a situation where because it was a lefty that was up. Why are we overthinking righty lefty? Because obviously, I believe it was Soderstrom that was up, and Soderstrom does have like I think it was like because I looked it up after, it was like a 150 WRC plus against righties, and about like a 110 against lefties. That's a little stark, but in a situation like that, we talked about how, yeah, maybe like the power or whatever, like that's cool and all, but like that's one of the places we really will look at batting average. And just because, like, obviously, like, getting the hit, whatever, his batting average was near identical against righties and lefties. I think it was like 280, like 285 and 283 or something like that. So it was like to the point where like
comparable.
It's a wash.
Whatever.
It's a wash at that point. So I would have still put your best guy in there. Like righty lefty sometimes is so overblown to me. It annoys me, but that's like really the only big issue I had with the bullpen usage this week.
Yeah. The only pushback on that for like, and this is gonna come out kind of like waving the white flag a little, but you're down a run, you're gonna face Mason Miller. It's kind of like one of those things where you don't want to use one of your best guys to, sure, yes, you give them a chance to then just go 1, 2, 3.
But it's 1 out.
Yeah, I know, but still, like when it comes to relievers, they warm up, they get up, they sit down. Like that's still using them, and that's still like
I get it, yeah.
to some guys that's that's a whole
I mean,
day's
for
work.
Weaver, it's not.
For Weaver, yeah, but like it's one of like the what's the word like
Bugaboos.
I guess kind of you don't really use your closer down a run or not winning in on the road.
I would agree for the most part, but Luke Weaver's one of those guys that, like, I feel like the situation doesn't matter for him. And I don't know. To me, it's a thing of, because worst case scenario, they go down 1-2-3, and Luke Weaver only got one out because there's gonna be no bottom of the ninth.
Yeah,
So
I guess.
I don't know. For me, it's a thing of just give. Obviously, Mason Miller did end up giving up a run. Granted, it was like a 5-run game at the point, so you can't really say like, oh, he's gonna give up the
It's not
run.
just pumping 100 in the zone, and if you hit it, you hit it.
But yeah, that was whatever. But Game 6, Ryan Yarbrough versus Luis Severino. I'm sorry, my son, Luis Severino. He had 5 runs through 2 innings, 8 runs through 4 innings. He allowed 11 base runners, and I'm sorry, boss. He did not look good. He could not control the zone. The Yankees absolutely shit on him. Nice job having that text last year, buddy. Where I obviously, again, I've said it multiple times, I do not care about that text where he said you guys only have 2 hitters. It was literally him messing around with his friends.
He was right. Let's not forget about that. He was right last year when he said it.
Especially because guys like Glaber hadn't picked it up yet. So,
because
once Glaber picked up,
lead off, JD Davis
clean up.
should clean up.
But once Glaber started to pick up, I would have pushed back on it. But yeah, that was nice try, buddy. And again, they're friends. He's messing around. It's like how Michael King was like making jokes about like the Yankees, but like Michael King's so close with all the guys. Like, no, that's guys fucking around.
Guys being dudes.
It's
dudes
I don't
being
care.
guys.
But Ryan Yarbrough, he ended up going 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. I said last week, I would love to see Ryan Yarbrough get that opportunity to be the 5th starter. He's done pretty good. He's done a lot more than Carlos Carrasco. And it's over his like last 9 appearances. He has like a 2.5 ERA, something like that. I forget what the exact stat is that they showed, but with 2 of those being starts, the other ones being kind of like those long, like 3 innings, 3 2/3 innings appearances from the bullpen. But love what I've seen from him. I thought the walks would be higher with him, but they've been pretty low. So I'd love to see that. But overall, that Oakland series, you had 2 absolutely just tossing your nuts on guys' heads. And I'm looking at you, Heston Kierstead. But see, look, they won't start a fight because of it.
They accept it like a good little team.
Exactly. But getting into the actual, kind of a couple of the guys I wanted to think or like talk about. Trent Grisham is so weird right now because I'm not even going to get into the offense. He is hitting phenomenal. Everyone knows that. His defense is so weird because I forget the account, but there's an account on Twitter that's going around that he's kind of like going over a lot of outfield, like plays in the outfield. And he's talking about like the jumps and the catch probabilities. And Trent Grisham has some of the worst rated jumps you'll see, according to that. So I don't know what's going on with him. Because he'll make some nice plays every here and there or whatever, but the jumps have just been horrible. And he's seen as this like incredible defender. I think you give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here, because we all know how good a defender he is. The jumps is a little weird though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, maybe it's just not seeing it
reading the ball well
for whatever reason. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
Whatever, he's hitting like an absolute madman, so I don't really care. It's just something to note that when he does come down to earth, I still think he can be a very good hitter. But when he's obviously going to come down to earth, when he does come down to earth, how are those jumps?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, like you said, I think I would give him the benefit of the doubt because he has that track record of being, a gold glove, platinum glove caliber defender. So This is so far his, this is his only year into negatives. Everything is at least positive.
Yeah. And we're a month and a half into the season.
Right.
So, because I'm going to also, was Anthony Volpe too is another guy where the defense is really weird, where before the game, or before the Oakland series, he had a negative 2 outs above average. He did end up getting that to 0, so he's neutral right now in the year. He's 48th percentile. I'm going to chalk that up right now, again, like with Grisham, month and a half into the season. Definitely did want to notice or mention it because that is something that's being talked about a lot on Twitter. Another thing that I saw people talking about is rest may just be a big thing with Volpe. How, I meant to mention this last week, but I forgot. How Aaron Boone said after his rookie year that, like, yeah, he just kind of, like, got burnt out. Kind of just, like, got overused. How much do we talk of whenever Anthony Volpe has a rest, he comes out of the gate swinging? Talk about the All-Star break last year. Talk about every year at the beginning of the seasons. Whenever he gets a day off, stuff like that. He always comes out of the gate swinging. So I don't know if that's, like, an actual storyline we should look at, or if that's something that's, like, just a coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely something to keep an eye on, but at the same time, I don't think the Yankees are really going to rest him
you
all
can't.
that much.
You cannot.
Yeah.
You don't have a backup shortstop. You don't have a competent backup
That's
shortstop.
That's the issue. Like,
yeah.
It's the teetering between, do we rest him to get a little more offensive production out of him or play him every single day because he's a good defensive shortstop?
Yeah.
So, but if the rest of your lineup is hitting and Volpe's at least a league average hitter, then whatever.
That's all. I've been saying that for a while now. All you need from Anthony Volpe is a league average hitter with the defense he plays and the speed he brings. Anything more is a gift. I've mentioned that how many different times, but another young guy I just wanted to talk or touch on because got to give him his flowers. Jasson Dominguez. Last 15 games, he's a 275 batting average, 367 on base, 569 slugging, words. Comes out to a 936 OPS. He has a 400 weighted on base, so that's even saying he is getting a little unlucky there. He's been absolutely flaming the ball. I think it was a 93.2 average exit velocity over that span, so that's very high, obviously. He has 4 home runs and 3 doubles in that span. Granted, you can say, 3 home run game, yada, yada, whatever. Still has 7 extra base hits. And or 162 WRC plus. I don't think I mentioned that, but I think that I talked a lot in the offseason about how this team doesn't have a clear and obvious leadoff hitter and how I would like Dominguez to be the leadoff hitter. Kind of the spot that I'm at because they've been batting him 5th a lot how do I word this? If one of the 3 lefties outside of him is out of the lineup, they'll bat him 5th. So if Rice, Grisham, or Bellinger are out of the lineup, they'll bat him 5th, which, okay, yeah, righty-lefty, whatever. But to me, if Trent or Ben Rice are not in this lineup, I think he should either be leadoff or 3-hole. Just with how much he's produced.
Yeah.
Because if you're batting, he's batting 5th consistently, and he's hitting so well.
Right. So why change it?
Because I don't like Cody Bellinger hitting behind Aaron Judge. I don't want
Cody
Bellinger hitting behind Aaron Judge. That's the issue.
That's fair.
Because why are you going to pitch to Aaron Judge if Cody Bellinger's on deck?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair. But again, it's another one of those things. Guy's hitting well in this spot. You want to move him up. Is he hitting well because of the spot he's in? Or is he just hitting well? Like, you don't want to mess up with what's going on.
I get it. It's also a thing of, to me, that if you put him in between Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt, he's getting a righty to face. Because you are not pitching a lefty to Paul Goldschmidt or Aaron Judge. You're just not doing that. So
that's a good point.
He's gonna see a righty in that. And we obviously have talked a lot about how, like, the left-handed or his right-handed side when he faces the lefty isn't as good, yada 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 yada. Fuck you, he hit a 430 nuke off a lefty. So that's kind of like the biggest reason why I would love him hitting in the 3-hole and then Ben Rice leadoff, because I love Ben Rice leadoff, is because of that fact of he's almost guaranteed to face a righty. Because you are not putting him in against a lefty to face those two guys.
No, that's a good point. I can't push back too much. It's just one of those things where, like,
I get what you mean. Yeah,
you really don't want to mess up.
it is aggressive. I will say that.
Yeah,
it is pretty aggressive to say that. But I also just think Cody Bellinger profiles better in that middle part of the lineup.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
The last thing I kind of wanted to talk about was the bullpen, and I want to go a little bit in depth here. I think Tyler Mastek at this point just needs to be in mop-up duty. And the issue with that is with Tyler Mastek being in mop-up duty, the only left you have in your bullpen outside of him is Tim Hill. And they've been so weird with Tim Hill, where he's only getting like an out to end an inning, and then he's just gone.
Yeah, he's like the fireman.
I don't really like that, though. I think Tim Hill needs more time. I don't know. It's a little funky to me that they're kind of not using Tim Hill when they relied on him so much in the postseason run. And if anything, I'm pretty sure all of his stuff has gotten even more movement compared to last year. So, I don't know. Ian Hamilton's a guy that I'm losing a lot of faith in because over his last 2 innings of work, he has 5 walks. He's been a very big culprit of walking the 9-hole hitter a lot. And even then, he has 4 walks over his last inning pitched. That was over 2 appearances, but I don't know, dude. I'm losing faith in the ham dog, the ham bone.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna pretend I knew like his stuff grades before this, but looking at it now, everything's below average. I'm not sure if like anything changed, if any of his the pitch movements changed or anything like that, but it doesn't look good for Ian Hamilton.
He was a flash in the pan 2023, 2024.
Right.
Where he was just a guy that Matt Blake was like, you're good now, came out of nowhere, yada, yada, yada. But we also talked about with Jake Cousins coming back, like, he's going to be out of a job.
They're two similar guys.
Too similar. Like, one of those guys is not going to be able to be on this team.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's a small sample, but just looking at his savant, like, it might just be the walks.
That's the biggest issue. Because he's just walking like guys he should not be walking. Like, he's walking the 9-hole hitter so many times. Like, it's a little wonky. But
he's striking out 32% of the hitters he faces. But he's walking 21.7.
That's too ridiculous.
No.
I could deal with walks, but 1 out of 5 being walks, no.
That's unacceptable. You can't have that.
That's ridiculous.
He does have an option. We'll just keep that in mind. There is an option.
There is an option there, yeah. Then Mark Leiter, I have no idea what the fuck to think about him. Because it feels like whenever he's put into a big spot, he blows it. He only has a 3.77 ERA, 2.21 FIP, 2.29 expected FIP. But it's also a thing of it looks like he's not confident.
It doesn't look like it, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look like he's getting unlucky. It looks like he's just not pitching well.
Yeah.
So I don't... Because, the underlying numbers are what the underlying numbers are. But I feel like with relievers, you could kind of tell if they're good or not.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta use your eyeballs.
It's just like watching... Like, he does not... It's not like I can say, like, oh, his stuff's insane, like this. I know his sinker grades out pretty well after I added, like, that extra couple miles an hour. But I don't know what it is with him. He gets way too many high leverage innings. In my opinion. Like,
I think just quickly box score watching it. The issue is when there's men on base. He has not given up a run. Well, I guess that just kind of makes sense. I don't know how this is laid out, but he hasn't given up a run with bases empty. He's given up 6 of men on base and 6 of men in scoring position.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 6 in high leverage spots.
No.
Yeah, it might just be a leverage thing.
Could be a leverage thing. Could be a thing of he just should not be on. Well, is that when he enters the game?
I'm not sure. This is
because it could just be a thing of he comes in with the bases empty, but then he just gives up a bunch of base runners and then they score.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Whatever. We'll figure it
I'm
out.
gonna try
Something
to.
new.
I'll try to find that as we keep.
Well, you try to find that out. Just overall, looking at the current bullpen, I think there's 4 guys that are like kind of like they're locked in to this bullpen, because you do have 4 guys that or 3 guys that are coming back in Cousins, Efros, and Loizaga, and so I think the 4 locks are Luke Weaver, Devin Williams, Fernando Cruz, and Tim Hill. I think those guys are your 4 big locks. Then the other 4 guys are Mark Leiter, Hamilton, Tyler Maztek, Yeri De Los Santos. When Loizaga comes back, I think Yeri De Los Santos, he's gonna be the bye guy just because he hasn't been on this bullpen recently. He just got called up from the minors recently. But then what do you do with Leiter and Hamilton when it comes to Efros and Cousins? I think if Hamilton doesn't pick it up, it's just gonna be a 1-for-1 with him and Cousins. But then Maztek, Leiter, and Efros, I think is where it gets like a little. What do you do there?
Oh, all right. First off, couldn't find it, but all I can find quickly, Leiter's is not good with men on base /
Yeah.
men in scoring position. So maybe it is a thing of he has to like work a clean inning. He can't come in with men on base, which is annoying. But if that is what's needed to get him right, then so be it. When it comes to the bullpen, I think as of right now, Ian Hamilton is definitely the guy, the odd man out, because the walks, no matter how many strikeouts he's getting, the walks are just unacceptable. You can't have that. You get go down to the minors and fix your shit. After that, I mean, I don't know. It might just be Matzek, and
Then you'd only have 1 lefty, and they're not
right,
giving
that's
Tim
the
Hill
issue.
multiple batters. It's really just 1 out here, 2 outs there.
I mean, going into the season, we talked a lot about how the Yankees didn't have a lefty, but that's kind of okay because you have a lot of splitter changeup guys. So you could probably get away with it.
Pretty sure Scott Efros does have reverse splits.
He's better against.
I think he does have it because a lot of his stuff runs in.
Yeah.
Then again, we
No,
haven't seen him
that would
pitch
make
since
sense.
fucking Vietnam. So, whatever. And then
I think
you go.
I think Matzek would be my guess because you can live with Williams the changeup, Cruz has the splitter, Tim Hill, Mark Leiter when he's right, he has good stuff. He can get lefties out. So I think that would kind of be my ideal situation.
And then a guy too that I don't know what they're doing with him, but I would love to see more of is Alan Winas in the minors. He's striking out everyone and their mothers. He has a very low ERA in a very hitter-friendly environment. So just want to touch on him really quickly and say, I don't know what they're going to do with him. Is he going to be a guy that's going to be used in because they don't really have a 2-3 inning guy right now in the bullpen with Yarbrough if he is going to stick as a starter. Yeah. So, what are you going to do there?
I mentioned him last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, but yeah, no, he's looked really good. I wonder how his stuff is playing up, but yeah, I mean, 19 innings, hasn't given up a run, a 1.58 FIP, that's legit stuff.
What are the strikeout rate? It's gonna be crazy high.
Striking out 36.5% of the batters he faces, walking only 8.
Yeah, in a very heavy run environment.
Absolutely.
So love to see him get something, whether it be like a 3-inning guy if they want to do some sort of piggyback off Yarbrough or even Will Warren, kind of like a thing of you're gonna pitch one of these 2 days. So that's all I had for this.
He's on the 40-man. I don't know.
He is on the 40-man, yeah.
So that's easily called.
Hey, we were talking about Hamilton consent having an option.
Yeah,
could be something like that.
That could be another option, absolutely.
But getting into a 3-game set in Seattle, got 3 more West Coast games because of course you got I don't remember how it is, but I think it's Schmidt, Fried, Warren. I think that's how it ends up mapping out. Yes, that is how it ends up mapping out. So it'd be Clark Schmidt versus Emerson Hancock. Hancock has not been good start the
Not
year.
good.
He has a 5.7 ERA. Then you got Fried versus Brian Wu, and then you have Will Warren versus Luis Castillo. Thank God we have Fried against Wu, because Wu scares the living shit out of me. He absolutely kills the Yankees. Kills the Yankees. So
Yeah.
definitely need to see that. And then Luis Castillo versus why am I blanking now? Will Warren. Could be a very interesting one because the Yankees have either hit Castillo or they've gotten shut out by Castillo. There is no in between. Then you got the Subway Series after that, and do you think that they push up Fried to start Sunday?
I don't know.
Because it would be normal rest.
At the end of the day, it's just
Sunday
another
night
game.
baseball.
But like, it's not interdivision. It's,
Interleague.
interleague. Like, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So like, that's not something I would like expect, I guess.
Yeah.
And also a thing like from a game management perspective, like the Mets have faced Fried for the past 6-7 years, however long he's been in Atlanta. So it's kind of like, I don't know if they want to go with that familiar face. I don't know.
He has a 2.48
Met,
ERA in 23 appearances against the Mets.
that sounds about right. I feel
Yeah,
like
he's
for the most part,
9-5.
yeah, for the most part, he's handled the Mets, but I feel like there's also been games where they kind of get around to him. So
109 innings, 113 strikeouts.
that sounds about right. He also faced some pretty meager Mets offenses.
Well, I'm looking at the last couple of years. That's when he's been his best
Of course.
against the
Of course
Mets.
he has. But
Yeah.
he's never faced Brett Baty, so.
His last start against the Mets, he went 7 innings scoreless.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So
That checks out. So I don't know. Maybe not. But
I hope he does, because I want to have a positive podcast next week, not a negative podcast.
You scared of the Mets? What?
Yes, the team that has. Do they still have the best record in baseball?
I think they're like a game behind the Dodgers or something.
Whatever, and you know Juan Soto's gonna do shit, but yeah, big series coming up. And
fun series.
The Mets only have 3 more wins than the Yankees. Interesting, but
yeah, it's not crazy.
I thought it was a little bit further, but yeah, that's all I had because I rambled a bit. If you wanted to take us away.
Yeah, I got nothing else, so let's head on over to the other side to Queens.
Now entering Queens.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Queens, where the Mets have taken care of 2 the top teams in the National League, in the Diamondbacks again, and the Chicago Cubs. Before we get into that, your Triboro MD injury report. We got Paul Blackburn making rehab starts, 4 starts, 11 innings. Not great results, but he's healthy. He's pitching. He's going to be another option whenever he gets back. I assume it's going to be a bullpen role / whenever they need a 6th starter instead of calling up from AAA, they'll use Paul Blackburn. But yeah, it's kind of tough finding spots for starting pitchers on this team, surprisingly. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Speaking of starting pitchers, Frankie Montas and Sean Manaea are both progressing well. Sounds like Montas more than Manaea. Sounds like both are kind of approaching the bullpen era of the rehab. So, obviously good news there. But I like what I said. It's going to be tough finding spots for these guys to fit in because this rotation has just been one of the best in baseball. Somehow, some way. But moving on to the Arizona series, we play the Diamondbacks again after playing them last week because this schedule is fucking stupid. Hate the schedule. It's the dumbest thing ever. But whatever. Game 1 you win pretty handedly. Corbin Burns got pushed back because of a shoulder issue, so you face Ryan Nelson. It's a 5-4 win, basically because of Dednell Nunez, who made his first appearance in the majors since going down with injury last year, and he has no idea where anything is going. He currently has a 47.6 zone percentage, meaning 52.4% of his pitches are balls. And I'm not sure what it is, because it's just like all his pitches. It's not like he doesn't have a feel for one. Like the fastball is just riding too up. The slider is not as sharp as it was, and it's missing down. He just doesn't really know where any of his pitches are going. So that's going to be an issue, especially if the Mets expected him to be kind of a leverage guy like he was last year, but it's a very small sample because he's recorded only 2 outs in 2 appearances, but he has the 67.5 walks per 9. But yeah, I don't know what's up with Dednell Nunez. I'm hoping it's just like a rust thing, but he has not looked good. I guess it's not even a good thing. It's just kind of like a funny thing. There has not been a ball put in play against Nunez because he's just walking everybody. So take that for what you will.
3 true outcomes, minus
Yeah.
1 of them.
Literally. But besides that, game 1 was a pretty healthy win. Even with the scare from Nunez, Edwin Diaz locked it down. Francisco Alvarez and Lindor combined for an excellent tag to get the would-be tying runner stealing. In game 2, Zach Gallen just owns New York. In 3 starts, 2 against the Mets, 1 against the Yankees, he has allowed 2 runs in 19 2/3 innings. In all of his other starts, he has allowed 20 runs in 25 innings. I don't know what it is, but Zach Gallen just absolutely owns the teams in New York. The curveball was working. The fastball looked good, but the Mets just had nothing against him. One of the most egregious things was Starling Marte was batting cleanup. Why? I don't understand it. Starling Marte's position, or I guess role on this team, is getting more murky as the day goes on. I'm not really sure. And it sucks because I want to call it high, but I was expecting more from Marte. I thought we would have seen more. And, maybe he kind of picks it up as the year goes on, but he's hitting under 200. His on-base percentage is barely over 300. His slugging percentage is 10 points higher than his on-base percentage. Excuse me. Currently has an 86. Sorry. He has an 86 weighted runs created plus. He's played the field once for 6 innings. I mean, I don't know. And with, Jesse Winker going down and a certain somebody maybe possibly kind of maybe hoping starting to hit, I'm not sure what you do with Starling Marte. What do you do? Like,
The
it doesn't really
Reaper's calling.
Yeah. It might just be time for Unk. Like,
All the other
the other issue is he just seems like such a good vibes guy. He seems like such a good clubhouse guy. I mean, Juan Soto called him out by name in his opening press conference. Like, now you have to deal with that
I
kind
think
of
he's got some more
clubhouse issue.
groin soreness
I think so too.
from that double surgery. I think he got some more
Me
soreness.
too. But yeah, it's a shame because I thought he could be a contributor, but so far it's just hasn't. So, Strong Marte, I'm not sure what you're gonna do, but I think your days are numbered. But yeah, game 2 was just complete owning by Zach Gallen. There really wasn't anything else there.
When Ace has their stuff, and Ace has their stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Game 3, this Juan Soto guy might be good, just maybe. He had 2 home runs on Wednesday, and now on the season, he has a 143 weighted runs created plus with 8 home runs, a 380 on base percentage, a 16.8 walk percentage, and in 10 May games, he's hitting 314 for 419 on base, an 800 slug for a 225 WRC plus. Juan Soto is good. Don't let a bad, it wasn't even a bad start, but a bad Juan Soto start distract you from the fact that this guy is a very, very good hitter. And I think he's starting to really break out of his, call it slump, from the beginning of the year. The only issue, and this is a team-wide issue, so this isn't even just Juan Soto, nobody can buy a fucking hit with runners in scoring position to save their life.
Well, no, Soto clearly brings that energy to the locker room that negatively affects the team, and it's all because of him. Did you not know that?
You're right. He's unhappy. That's why he visits the bullpen every pitching change. That's why he talks to everybody. That's why he
I'm not gonna
smiles.
get into the memes themselves, but have you seen the memes about Soto and Brett Baty?
Yes, we got some queens on our team. So congratulations for coming out to both Brett Baty and Juan Soto.
It's just you have to be on Twitter to understand it.
You just gotta be. It's certainly a can't miss joke going around now.
Hey, it all started with Anthony
pretty funny.
Volpe and Stanton
That's
last
so
year.
true. It's pretty funny, but
It's so
yeah.
stupid.
But since he came out, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. So congratulations to Juan Soto. But yeah, this guy's just good. I mean, I think we can kind of put his, again, quote unquote, slow start behind. Baseball savant, very red, 99th percentile in expected weighted on base, 94th in expected batting average, 98th expected slug, 97th average exit velocity, 84th in barrel. The list goes on and on and on. So he's good. He's gonna be fine. And then it's just the runners to scoring position that again, it's a team wide thing, but you need and would like a little more from Juan Soto. But game 3 was a pretty, again, healthy win. Not much stress from there. Kodai Senga walked 5 guys, but only gave up 1 run somehow, some way. He's just Houdiniing every single start. Kodai Senga has been excellent. A sub-2 ERA through 7 starts. And the thing is, Kodai Senga doesn't even look like on top of his game. Like, you could tell like he's still kind of fixing things along the way. But, you know, the strikeouts aren't really there. He's getting a lot of softer contact. The walks are up, but yeah, this guy just looks healthy. He's performing. He's effective. That's all you can ask. Moving on. Oh, another kind of, I hate talking about it now, but you need to keep an eye on it. Since you already played the Diamondbacks 6 times, I'm 99% sure that they don't play the Diamondbacks any other time throughout the year.
Nah.
Just gonna, yeah, because they
You
played
played
6 times.
2 series.
Right. So with that being said, the season series is tied. So we all know how much that played a role last year. So the season series is tied. So, so months from now, come playoffs, if there needs to be a tiebreaker, I believe it's by interdivision record, if I'm not wrong. So that kind of,
Intra-division.
yeah, I always forget the fucking inter,
So
whatever.
record within division. That's tied.
Yep.
It's interdivision record, so it's essentially your NL record. And then, dude, why is this so weird?
The
Then it's
tiebreakers are very odd.
the last half of interleague games.
What?
And then if that's tied, the last half of interleague games +1.
+1 is crazy. They really said, I don't know what else to do. +1.
But
Yeah, the season series is tied.
and the
so it
process
goes
is repeated until the tie is resolved.
insane.
+1, +1, +1,
But intra-division record is really what we're looking for here. So when the Diamondbacks have to play, the Dodgers, the Padres, even the Giants are still a good team.
Don't mention the last
Everyone
one.
except for the Rockies, who fired their manager after they won.
I was gonna say after they won.
But yeah, so it's good for the Mets. And yeah, so with that being said, we'll move on to the Cubs series, where one of the hottest offensive in baseball, one of the best offenses in baseball, the Chicago Cubs. The Mets handled them pretty nicely. And, I hate being a glass half empty kind of guy, but this could have easily been a sweep.
Mm.
Easily. You were one hit with runners in scoring position from this being a sweep. But I digress. Friday's game, Clay Holmes, just fantastic. I don't think we've talked about Clay Holmes enough on this podcast, so I'm going to give him his flowers now. Clay Holmes is a starter. Through 8 starts, he has a 2.74 ERA, a 2.63 FIP, a 24.7 K percentage, and a 9 walk percentage. That's basically average with the walks. I know that was one of the biggest issues coming into the year with Clay Holmes transitioning to be a starter was the walks, but so far he's been able to keep it about at average level, which I think is more than he can ask for. While looking at this, kind of like getting some numbers, a funny little wrinkle I saw, he already matched his F4 from last year. The entirety of last year, he's already matched his F4, which is pretty funny. But looking at his new pitches, he added the changeup and the cutter, which were the two big ones in spring training. So far, the changeup has been absolutely disgusting. A 205 expected weighted on base average, a 37.7 whiff percentage. Batters are hitting just 179 on a pitch he just picked up over the offseason. The cutter, on the other hand, has been a good soft contact / strike pitch. Has a 346 expected weighted on base, but has an 81 average exit velocity on it. So the 2 pitches he's added in the offseason have been excellent.
You can also make a counterpoint. There's not enough film on them.
I mean, sure, but they're still performing well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the issue is going to be longevity and workload and things like that. But
Yo,
I would argue that. Sorry.
I'm talking about my dogs, not you. Keep going.
I would argue that the whole, there's not enough film on them. I think that would be more of an issue next season.
Yeah, I agree.
Because obviously it's new, but whatever. I think that'd be more of an issue next season, so we could talk about that next season. But besides that, I mean, he's been excellent. I don't know if you had anything. The Yankees could definitely use him.
Nah, we got Ryan
Not much.
Yarbrough. We got Ryan Yarbrough.
Sorry, my bad. I guess
Ryan
you don't
Yarbrough
want
doesn't have 14 blown
pitcher-
saves.
I'm sorry, he has blown saves this year.
Yeah,
Currently, he has 14 blown saves.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's Devin Williams' ERA, by the way?
What's Ligma?
Okay. But no, Clay Holmes has been excellent. I mean, I think the transition has gone better than probably definitely better than a lot of people expected. Maybe even better than what the Mets have expected. Because, I mean, so far, this guy's been like a top 20 pitcher in the league.
The amount of
Maybe.
relievers you're going to see this offseason turn to starters is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just thought about that.
That whole trend is going to be pretty
Dude,
funny.
the reliever market is going to be insane next year.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be so expensive just because of that.
I'm
No one's
sure.
going to sign cheap deals. But
Absolutely not.
go on.
But Clay Holmes currently ranks 12th in WAR amongst qualified starters. We're 21st in ERA. I'm kind of going at, there it is. 8th in FIP. Where is he? 21st in expected FIP. Let me just look at Innie's pitch just because of the hell of it. Clay Holmes. All right. Clay Holmes, hold on. Clay Holmes. Clay.
You can do it. You got it.
All right, whatever. He's not in the top 50. That's all that matters. But he's been routinely going 5-6 innings the past couple starts. Which, again, I think is more than many people thought and probably more than the Mets thought. So his next test is probably getting past the 6th inning. But if he's like a 5-6 inning guy, so be it. But definitely the next test would be getting him past the 6th into the 7th. At least into the 7th. Now, on the downside, Saturday's game, the calendar has flipped. Therefore, Tyler McGill forgot how to pitch. In 2 starts in May, Tyler McGill has pitched 9 2/3 innings, giving up 8 earned runs.
You know
Justin, guess how many-
like the meme where it's like, oh, blah blah blah's storyline, and then average subplot for someone else, and it's just the SpongeBob
Yeah.
meme. That's Tyler McGill when the
the
calendar
subplot.
flips.
Yeah. 8 earned runs in May already. Justin, guess how many earned runs he gave up in March/April?
4.
Close. 6. 6 earned runs in March/April. 8 earned runs in 2 starts in May. I don't want to
Now, what if we go into his
proclaim-
phone and
Okay.
we hack it?
change the date.
Change the date. So right now it's like April. Are there 30 days in April?
It's a good question. There are 30 days in April.
All right, this is April
So this-
42nd.
Yeah, this is April 42nd. But it's just, again, I don't want to proclaim that he's kind of like, he's reverting back to whatever. Like, there are tangible changes he has made that you can look at to see that this start is not a fluke.
But he's
But-
also cursed.
Right. Fact of the matter is, he has a sub-3 ERA in March/April for his career and an ERA over 5 in May.
That seems low.
It's quite impressive how it happens. It's literally just, it's May. All right. This whole good pitching thing, I'm out. I don't want it.
Do you think he just gets burnt out? Like, was this how he was in the minors?
Truthfully, I don't know. The one thing I will say is maybe it's one of the things of, all right, the first month of baseball kind of wore off. Like, this is now just the routine. Like, you're not fighting for a job. You're not fighting for a spot. This is kind of just what you're doing every 5 to 6 days. So maybe it's kind of just mental burnout. I don't know. I don't want to call it that. Like, He doesn't need to fight for it, I guess. Is kind of what I'm going for. So I don't know, maybe there's like a mental stoppage somewhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, you cannot see splits in the
Mental
minors, like a
stoppages.
month by month. I was trying to find that, but I don't think
Yeah,
you can.
yeah. But I mean, look, for the year, he still has a 3.10 ERA, a 2.99 FIP, a 3.29 expected FIP. So he's been really good still. Hopefully, it's just, 2 bad starts in a row. Just, the regression monster course correcting. But as far as the start against the Cubs, it just fell apart really quickly. So and the all right, here's the weekly umpire rant. The umpires this year, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if I'm just like watching it more or I'm just like paying attention more, but for some fucking reason, the umpires have been so dog shit this year. Between home plate umpiring, calling balls and strikes, between calling plays on the field, and isn't an umpire issue. This is more of a major league replay issue. The fact you can't fucking replay and challenge certain plays, it's ridiculous. It's only fucking May, and I want to rip my hair out because these umpires are squeezing the fuck out of my pitchers.
Can I rant about other stuff that I've noticed too? So,
Go for it. This is the ranting umpire section.
yeah, so with the Yankees, they've had the same exact issues when it does come. So, come to
When it
the
does come.
umpires. It literally just look at this Oakland Athletics series. So you had the play with Trent Grisham that people don't know if it was a catch or not, which that was clearly a catch. The whole entire point is that you voluntarily release it. Now, if you want to say the thing with the Reds, because that was the one I was being compared to,
Yeah.
I don't know which way you could say it, but they're very clearly different.
Yes.
You know, the Grisham one is a clear and obvious voluntary release. The Reds one, the guy
broke his arm.
It was confirmed. Okay. Yeah, the
Yes,
guy broke
he
his arm.
fractured his
So it's
arm.
like, was it?
His arm was here, and then it was back there.
So it's like that, and then you had the whole thing with how, I forget what it was, but it was with like the runners. How they said like, yeah, like they placed the runners in a certain spot, and then Aaron Boone challenged it, and then they wait 5 minutes to tell him that he can't challenge the play. How? Okay, like someone said, like, oh, he was just there. New York told them after a couple minutes. How do umpires not know that though?
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, you would think that the Yankees would know if you could challenge that or not.
Right.
So was there just a rule that got shadow dropped? You had another time. You had 2 or 3 times in the Oakland series where you had runners that had to get placed by the umpires. And every single time they were done in a horrible way. Because that's another thing too. Oakland, do you know how like the things are? Like the padding?
No. Like
the padding, Oakland,
wall?
Jesus Christ, Sacramento. The padding
Whatever.
all across the field, there's spots where the ball could get stuck in the bottom.
Seriously?
Yeah. Someone's going to get Aaron judged with his toe.
Let's get Aaron judged.
No, seriously. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. But they've been horrendous. It's not just the Mets. It's everyone.
No, absolutely.
It's everyone.
Absolutely. I just don't understand. Like, I was watching
a review. Why the fuck do we have replay if half the stuff is reviewable? I get it, like ball strikes, whatever. Like, okay, check swings, I may disagree with, but I understand the reasoning why. But everything, if something's a catch or not, how is that not reviewable? If you're telling a guy, yeah, you could challenge something.
From the infield.
If you could tell if you could tell someone that something is challengeable and they challenge it, and then you have to wait 5 minutes to tell them it's not, and then we're talking about pace of play, and that's a big thing that MLB is trying to focus on.
Right. It just it kills the momentum. It kills like the whole what's the word? I don't know. Like the aura. That's not the word I was looking for, but that's the word I'm using.
I know what you mean. It's
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but the umpires have just been awful. But regardless, I say that because Tyler McGill was getting squeezed this start as well. So obviously it doesn't help, but that's not an excuse. So it kind of just fell apart in the first inning. Almost got out of it because Brett Baty is just him. And he went only 4 innings and allowed 4 runs, and that was really that. So it sucks, but we move on. Hopefully, again, just 2 blips in May, and he kind of course corrects. I think he's set to face the Yankees, so maybe we'll see. But Justin, is it happening? Is
No,
it time?
no,
Is it
no.
happening?
Nick, don't buy in.
I'm
Don't
back
buy in.
in.
Nick,
I'm in.
Nick.
I'm back in. I'm all the way back.
No.
I got the U up checks,
It's
and
like
I'm up.
I was gonna say it's like the guy with the
I'm so
abusive
up.
ex.
I've never been
No.
more up in my life.
Guys, the
I've
100th
never been more
episode of the
awake.
Triboro Podcast will be a solo episode after Nick kills himself when he realizes that he's back out.
I am so in. Brett Baty. Brett Baty has hit 3 home runs in this Cubs series. 3 home runs. 2 on Saturday. 5 RBIs. He was the entire Mets offense on Saturday. Talk me off the ledge, Justin.
Nick,
Why shouldn't I be excited?
Nick, it is a couple of games. Calm down. You have how much of a sample size that proves that he is not this?
But I've never seen him hit oppo home runs like he has. He hit 2 opposite field home runs. I think is that them. Are those the no? He's hit a few. It's definitely like that's like the second and third oppo home run he's hit in his career. The Friday homer was very impressive. He took a Jameson Tyler fastball on the outside side of the plate, took it the other way, hit it 107 miles per hour, and went 393 feet in one of the hardest places to hit in that left center field gap at Citi Field, and he did it with ease. On the season, he is now hitting 227, 261 on base, a 485 slug for a 746 OPS. He's now above league average hitter on the year. But, Justin, you want to talk about sample size? Over his last 15 games, I don't think this is counting Sunday. Well, he didn't play Sunday, so it doesn't matter. His last 15 games, Brett Baty's hitting 289 for 333 on base, a 644 slug, a 170 weighted runs created plus, a 283 expected batting average, a 47% hard hit rate, 89.4 average exit velocity, 12.2 barrel per plate appearance, which would rank 10th overall, and he's only striking out 27% of the time.
This was the
I'm
last.
in.
The last what? 15 you said?
Last 15 games. 2 weeks. Obviously, it's still not enough to kind of ride home. I'm in. I'm
Okay.
all the way in. He has a spot on this roster, obviously because of injury, but because he plays good defense at third base when other people don't. Sorry, Mark. The Mets have such an, I don't want to say easy, but like a solid answer to how to get all these guys playing. Brett Baty at third, Mark Vientos at DH, Luis Angel Acuna at second, and whatever the fuck you want to do with Jeff McNeil. Put him in center, put him in left, put him at second. Acuna's bat has slowed down a little, so maybe he gets some starts at second. He has the potential for runway. He looks confident. The ground balls are not nearly as much of an issue. On the year, he has the career low ground ball rate at 46.7%. The power or the raw power has never been an issue. He has elite bat speed. We see the the homers he hits, the 114 off the bat, off Zach Wheeler, 109 or 107 at the opposite way, but I don't know, man. Like, it just feels different. And I'm ready to get hurt again.
You're gonna get hurt again.
Probably. But if Brett Baty has 0 fans, I'm dead. But no, he just looked so good in these 2 games against the Cubs. Like, obviously the home runs are the home runs, but defensively, he's looked comfortable. Again, he almost made a play on Saturday that would have gotten Tyler McGill out of the first. I don't know, man. Like, maybe just this is the Mark Vientos of last year. He hits a home run to help win the game. He gets sent down. He gets called back up. And maybe he just takes it. Maybe he does. And Mark Vientos is starting to hit a little more too. He had a home run on Sunday in the RBI single. The best part of this is there's healthy competition. Because for the past couple of years, Brett Baty and Mark Vientos have been essentially fighting over third base. And there's a path to both of them playing. So there's room for healthy competition, right? Which I think can't hurt you. And if they both hit, that's just an excellent problem to have. Again, you have such an easy route to go with Brett Baty at third and Mark Vientos at DH. So we gotta wait to see how he does with some more playing time, consistent playing time, I hope. But, I trust Carlos Mendoza in how he handles situations like these because I think he has earned the benefit of the doubt on how he handles playing time and things like that. But I don't know, man. The home runs just I'm excited. But yes, I know I'm ready to also be hurt, but I hope he doesn't. And also, because the other thought I had, this could easily be he's playing well. He boosts up his value. Goodbye at the deadline.
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, that could easily be what's happening, or what could happen. Because we'll pull back the curtain a little. The future with this team. Where does Brett Baty fit in?
It does not revolve around him as he used to.
Right. Yeah, because I don't know if the Mets are committed to Mark Vientos at third base. Maybe as a concept, but his defense he's been bad. I mean, we kind of knew what we were getting with Vientos, but it was just bad. He currently has -4 outs above average at third base. He finished the year last year with -7, and he's currently at -4. But he can mash. That is true. So you only commit 1 at third base. Then, it begs the question of if Pete Alonso is back, then you don't have a spot for Vientos at first. So I don't know. There's a lot that can happen with Brett Baty, but for now, I'm just enjoying the success he's having as of right now, and I hope it continues. I truly do. Whether that means he finds a spot on this team or boosts up his value to be part of a trade, so be it. But until that point, I'm going to sit and watch and be happy that Brett Baty's having major league success. That's all I had on Brett Baty. Last guy I want to talk about is just shout out Griffin Canning. 8 starts, 42 innings, a 2.36 ERA, a 3.5 FIP, a 3.37 expected FIP. Like, it's laughable. Like, how is Griffin Canning good? And it's not like they reinvented anything. It's literally just, hey, your fastball sucks. Don't throw it as much. Your slider's good. Throw it more. Was it that simple? The Angels couldn't fucking figure that out? I mean,
Well,
not
that's
shocked.
it's the Angels.
Not
Yeah.
shocked. Yeah, but still, I mean, the Mets, I believe, have won. Going into the Arizona series, in his Arizona start, the Mets won 5 straight Griffin Canning starts. Or Griffin Canning has won 5 straight starts. He's gotten the win in 5 straight starts. He didn't get the win on Sunday, but the Mets won that game. So I believe that is now 6 or maybe 7 straight games the Mets have won in which Griffin Canning pitches.
Hmm.
I believe. No. 7. 7 straight starts the Mets have won when Griffin Canning's on the mound. So, I don't know. Just shout out David Stearns. Shout out the Braves for cutting him. And, shout out Jeremy Hefner and the pitching coach staff and all that. Just amazing work. It's unbelievable what they're doing.
Hmm.
That's all I had. So now we'll quickly look ahead. Mets welcome the Pirates for 3-game set at Citi Field. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you want to look at it, the Mets will be facing Paul Skeens. That will be Monday night's game. Paul Skeens against David Peterson. Then you got Kodai Senga versus Mitch Keller and Clay Holmes versus Bailey Falter. And then obviously, Subway Series this weekend. If Fangraphs is correct, the lineup is currently McGill, Canning, and Peterson. So if the Mets lose, you faced our 3 worst starters. So whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. So, but yeah, a really good week for the Mets. You took the series from 2 very good National League teams. Ones you will most likely directly be competing with when it comes to playoffs and seeding and all that. So good wins all around. Brett Baty, please. I beg you. And yeah, this pitching staff is awesome. This team is awesome. The Subway Series should be fun, so I'm looking forward to that. But you got anything on the Mets before we kick things out?
I hope you guys win the next 3, lose the last 3 after that.
No, I'd rather get swept against the Pirates and then sweep the Yankees.
No.
Yes.
Nope.
But with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening and or watching. If you're on YouTube, remember to subscribe, leave us a comment, leave us a like, let us know that you're enjoying the show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a rating, drop us a review. Helps us out a ton. Remember to follow all of our social media accounts. We post lineups, we post final scores, game recaps, all that good stuff on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Basically any social media account, we are there at Triboro Podcast. Thank you guys so much again for watching and or listening, and we'll see you next week after the Subway Series. See you next time.